Bros, this thing no size you.
No worry.
Bros, God no go shame us. Don't shame yourself.
Let me drag her now.
Drag away thing. You know what I'm saying? As you the first time they enter your leg, if it this thing go tear.
Wait.
Bro, this thing go tear. If you tear down, you go buy market.
Oh yeah, wait first. Wait.
This thing not fit
Wait
now.
now.
This thing not fit now.
Yeah, wait first now.
Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Hypatia Olushiotuchuku. On this channel I talk about faith, lifestyle and gospel movie review. If you're new to this channel, thanks for stopping by, and if you're a returning subscriber, thanks for coming back. In this video, I'll be reviewing the movie titled Minister Praise. Minister Praise was produced by Damilola Fasisan, and you can find it on Impact Global Ministries TV on YouTube. It tells the story of a young man, Praise, who was so passionate about music. You could see in his room, as shown in the movie, how he had the pictures of different popular music ministers, how pasted on his wall, Johnson Yehan, Sinach, Moses Bliss, and he put his picture in the middle, and he always dreamed of becoming a music minister, singing so well and bringing down the presence of God in worship before God's people. And he had this desire to just serve God by leading praise, worshiping God and bringing others to worship God too. And there was something interesting about this brother Praise. He didn't have a good voice. He went for an audition and was asked to present, and I had high expectations because he's someone that you've seen that he listens to songs a lot, has pictures of gospel musicians in his room, and you'll be thinking that, oh, probably an impartation has gone on or something, and he's so good a singer. He had actually gone for different auditions and he was rejected, and his friends had tried to tell him that, you don't really have a good voice and all. Well, he wasn't taking it. He wanted to learn. He said, I can learn. And so one of his friends, who was a good music minister, directed him to someone who could help him with his voice and train him. And while it was there, it was a complete struggle getting him to actually sing. And in all of that, the pastor was concerned, and so the pastor called him. I feel like the central message in the movie is service in the house of God. There are different units in church, and sometimes we desire to serve in a particular department. And the question now becomes, why are we desiring to serve in that department? Is it because we want to hide? Like we saw one person in the movie serving in the department because he didn't want to be seen, and so he thought of the department where he would be unnoticed, and so he went into that department. So is it because you want to hide? Is it because you admire how people recognize a particular department, and so you want that admiration, you want the fame that comes with being in that department? Or is it because that's the ministry God has called you to? And I like how the pastor was particular about praise, and he shared that there was a particular sister in the church who joined because she saw a need in the ushering department. And when she joined the ushering department, because she was sincere in serving God, she later discovered that she was called into children ministry, and she switched. And so he encouraged Praise to go back to seek the face of God and get to know if it was God actually leading him to go into music ministry. Why is he so bent on going into ministry? When it comes to our service to God in his house and our calling, we have to discover the areas God has graced us and enabled us to serve in.
It's going to be a great minister, but I hope you are not pursuing music ministry because of money and fame. Well, I need to let you know two things quickly. Number one, to serve God or to worship him has nothing to do with people seeing you. Yes. It has to do with God that you are serving, to see you that in actual fact, you are serving him. Even to the point of any little things you can do for him. Are you getting that? Secondly, if God is really, really calling you into music ministry, it's not about you having a very sonorous, good voice or having a professional musical equipment. It's about bringing down the presence of God.
One of the major lessons I got from Minister Praise was captured in the scene where Praise went for his voice training and his instructor was speaking to him about patience. The instructor said something very profound about learning in patience and how it's better to fail in the presence of a little crowd and then learn from your mistakes and grow than to be unprepared and then go to a crowd of 500,000 persons, then fail there. Another thing that stood out for me in the movie was a discussion between Praise and his pastor, when his pastor was encouraging him to seek God's face on the department or unit he wants him to serve in the church. And Praise was surprised. He said, do I need to seek the face of God? Isn't it something that I already have the will to just choose where I want to serve God? Since I see I'm passionate about music, isn't it okay for me to just decide that I want to join the choir and become a music minister? And the pastor told him that it's important for him to seek God's face so that he can know where God has enabled him, where God has graced him to serve in the body. It's not enough to just desire to serve and go ahead to serve, but the pastor emphasized that in as much as it is done in sincerity of heart and God sees your heart, he can always direct you to the place where he has graced you for. And so the pastor encouraged Praise to go on a fast and promised to go on that fast with him in seeking God's face to know whether it's music ministry or something else. And when Praise heard the something else part, he expressed his discomfort. And the pastor asked him that, are you ready? Are you willing to accept God's response? If God says otherwise, are you ready to accept God's response? And that stood out to me. That sometimes we go to seek God's face, sometimes we go to God in prayer concerning an issue, and we are not open-minded, we are not sincere with ourselves, we are not sincere with God to say that, God, this is what I desire to be, this is what I desire to have. But if it's not your will, I'm ready to accept what you want for me. And I liked that even though I felt like Minister Praise wasn't going to accept that if it is not music, it is music. But I liked that he obeyed the pastor and he went to seek God's face. And when he saw God leading him in a different direction, he accepted it.
Sir, I have prayed. And I believe God is saying music is not the right fit for me as a ministry.
I'm sorry about that, Brother Praise. It's taught for us of peace and not of evil, to give us a hope and a future.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In fact, that is why I decided to join another unit that I think I'm better qualified for.
I highly recommend watching Minister Praise. You can find it on Impact Global Ministries TV. I love the way it addresses the issue of service in the house of God, ministry as a believer, and how it directs attention to the fact that it's not enough to have a passion. You have to ensure that what you're doing is in line with what God desires of you to do. I liked how, even though Praise was the one who was, searching for a way to discover where it is that God was leading him to serve in church, he came in contact with a man, a man who was serving in the church, and he was a sanctuary keeper. And it's a noble thing to be among people who keep the house of God clean. And when he visited the man, Praise had heard the man singing, and so he decided to visit the man and ask the man to teach him, because he wanted to learn how to sing by all means. So he asked the man to teach him, and so he visited the man and discovered that the man had a calling into singing, music ministry. But the man denied it. He said he wasn't good at it, that he could only do this because it was just the both of them. And right there, I felt it. I felt that this man didn't believe in what God could do through him, and that's something that has hindered people from serving in the areas that God has called them to serve. And so because he didn't believe that he could do what God had called him to do, he decided to do something that was less in his eyes, something that he could easily do without getting noticed. He didn't want to get noticed, and so he joined the sanctuary keepers to hide. Now, there's nothing wrong in joining the sanctuary keepers department in church, but his motive for joining the unit was wrong. And later on, when he was having a conversation with his wife asked him if he was going to do as he was advised to do by Brother Praise, and he didn't want to give it a thought. And his wife encouraged him with the scripture which says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And at that point, the man was willing to give it a try, and so he went for an audition, and the rest, they say, is history.
Sir, if you join the unit to hide, that means you joined for the wrong reason, sir. No, sir, don't be that ungrateful servant who hid his master's talent rather than profit with it. Sir, if you are sure this is what God has called you into, no excuse will be tenable before your maker.
Okay guys, thanks for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, what are you waiting for? Click on the subscription button and turn on the notification bell so that you get notified whenever I upload a video. Also, like this video and share it.